So here's the first set for Retro Cheater, and just like I said, if you actually look at some of the stuff that I actually put on the main page, that I like looking for game cheats or anything for, helping with the game or helping anyone play the game that are not very good with the games. So this is actually something that is actually for helping. It's just more for, actually maybe I actually can consider it as helping, because as you can see, I'm actually using a Powersaves. It's an actual replay setup, and most of the time when you actually see Powersaves and not actual replay, you just think this is just for saving game data. Well, actually I kind of screwed up that one too, until I had to look up information on it just to understand what was going on. Well, and I'm actually testing. Actually, I did test it on this. I had a few problems before, so one of the problems that I actually learned about the Powersave with the Animal Crossing game is that you can only get items with it. Say if you want to get Wolf-like gift items, like, actually there's one actually on my mind that's actually 7-Eleven stuff. It's something that you can only get at Nintendo Store at 7-Eleven in Japan. So that kind of really stumped me a little bit. Why would they only have it there, not here? Or have anything better? Because during 2015, during June, if I remember right, that they actually I think that's the last Wolf-like gift that they actually gave out on regular internet. And that kind of upsets me, because this is actually a true story. I actually had a track phone for like maybe 200 minutes. I spent a whole hour trying to figure out why there was no Wolf-like gift after that day. I think it was like during August. So I spent like about a $20 phone card on a phone, and just to get no information. So you know what I thought of? This. I mean, if there was a Wolf-like gift I missed, this actually helped me slightly more with it. I mean, I'm not going to use this for like the funding cheat or anything like that, because that's going to screw up part of the game, and I learned that from other games before. Don't ever max your money out. Unless you're going to do a test on it first, and then have a backup save for it. Or that it's going to screw up the game, because I had a lot of games where you max up the money, it's going to screw up. I learned that, actually, one game I actually learned that from Game Shark was Legend of Dragoon, where I actually maxed out the money, but I couldn't buy anything, so. But then the next thing is actually I'll explain that when I get to that, but don't ever max out the money, because it screws up everything. So, to the item part. Well, you can almost kill almost about every item in the whole game with this. But in order to do it, you have to actually have... Actually, I need to explain it again, but... in the part 2 setup that I have. Well, you have to actually have one item in a slot to actually make this work. And I screwed that up because I got this game used, and I didn't think about, I didn't think I need an item in that one slot to actually work, but I actually had to need an item. It doesn't matter, you can just get seashells, something you don't care about, or whatever else is on the list you don't really want or care about at all. You just want the item that you can't get normally. And I actually did mention this before on Miiverse, and I almost got kicked out of that. I got a notice on it and said that saying something, it said I violated their violation of conduct. Actually, I still got a contact about something about that, because there is a copyright thing, and they're in trouble for that, and I gotta talk to them about that copyright thing later. Something that wasn't supposed to be on there that kind of involved me, and they're kind of in trouble for that setup. So then I was gonna have to watch out when I actually had to really talk to him again. So it actually does work, just need an item. And I did a video set up on new 3DS, so but I screwed up with the original, so because I didn't explain why I wanted to actually play. And I don't think I actually explained very well in the part 2 setup, so I'm gonna redo everything and just show part 2 after I show this, because I kind of screwed up and I don't want to redo anything again. Okay. I don't know. Because I redo part 1 like about 5 times until I figured out what I was trying to remember what I was trying to say. Too, so I don't know how well this camera's gonna work with this setup, so can't see it very well. Well, doesn't matter. Okay, we'll get to the item menu. As you can see, there's actually the bottom. You can actually see it. Actually, it just looked a little fuzzy. Well, what you can see is it says 24-hour shop counter. And I'm trying to get all the 7-Elevens, and I only got one item left on the list. But in order to do this is actually for slot 1. All the 7-Elevens for the for slot 1 setup. And there'll be like slot 2, slot 3, and slot 4. But those are just basic items that you can actually just get in the game anyway, so I don't bother with stuff you can just get in the game. I only bother with the stuff you can't get in the game. That's why I got the 7-Eleven. So what I'm going to actually do later is I'm actually going to play the game on 2-player and move the thing into my other game. And plus you can't rebuy these either, so. But since you can actually kind of just use this, you can actually get it again, but it's too much work. I just want to get one whole set. So I'll just save this, and next time I'm actually gonna gotta mess all over here and try to sit down the part 2. I keep forgetting I'm too much in a rush for other stuff today. It's a quiet day and you can actually hear me for once today. So okay. There we go. So I'll save that later, and then I'm gonna actually get the last item later on, so. And it might take a while getting a few more Animal Crossing games if I feel like, because I noticed on the thing lately, for all the rare items I get, it's really hard to store them. So I may have found one way how to actually do that. By buying a few, cheap used games and store the stuff, I really want to keep without actually interfering with my main game. So I actually found a few ways how to actually do that. Or just keep half of it in one game and then just play in one game. Well, that's all I'm going to do for this, and I actually have a part 2, but I kind of did that before I did this, after I kind of screwed up why I wanted to get the thing, and I don't want to pay a plane ticket to actually get one Wolfie, or one DLC, I'm going to say DLC. And how much does a plane cost? I go $400. So that's that, and then I had to get a passport. Then I had to bring the DS, and I pretty much had to get worried not to get robbed. So I think Nintendo didn't really figure that one out. I mean, I like the items, but I don't want to go through a lot of trouble to get one thing. So it's $20, or is it over $200? Your pick. Because I'm not going to pay $200 and try to get a passport, and if something goes wrong in international stuff or some like stupid terrorist attack crap, don't I think I want to get involved with that. Because I don't want to get involved with, other things that pretty much shouldn't actually involve me in the first place. So, well, I'm just going to end this here, and pretty much gonna put part 2 after this. But it's not gonna feel like the same like I did everything. But I haven't figured out my editing stuff on Windows 10, and Microsoft was kind of a little picky and pushy about it, so stick with Windows 10 for a while until I can find a laptop that actually has Windows 8 again, and then redo everything and do it better. So if there is a cheat that everyone wants me to look into and test out, go ahead and say something and I'll see if it actually works, and see if I actually have a game for it. See if I have that game to actually test it out first too. So just tell me what game to actually really do a game cheat and see how the function of it goes. If the game crashes and cheats, has something wrong with it or a flaw in it. So I'm just gonna completely end this here and just tell me what type of game cheat you really want me to actually test out.